Hello everyone, this is Jade Noble back at you with another video. Today I have a really cool video for you all. This video I'd like to focus on what I believe is the greatest coin collection that you can collect if you are a serious coin collector. And as you all can see, these are all Carson City Morgan dollars. And this is the complete set, including this cool one, which is an O over CC, which is technically not a Carson City, but they did use the Carson City planchets, and you can see some of the CC on it. But before I go into each one of these coins, I kind of want to explain why I believe that this is the greatest coin collection to collect if you are into US coins. And one of the main reasons is because this collection embodies one of the greatest designs, the Morgan silver dollar designs, with one of the greatest collectible mints, the Carson City Mint, which only minted coins from 1870 to 1893. So they were only around during the gold and silver rush out west. It was in Carson City, Nevada. You know, they had the gold rush in California, and Carson City, Nevada, kind of close to California, but they minted coins out there when the gold and silver rush was going on. And but it only was open for 24 years, from 1870 through 1893. And fortunately, the Morgan Silver Dollar Series covers a lot of those dates from 1878 through 1893. The 1900 doesn't count, and there are a few missing because there were a few years that they weren't made. But what I really like about this set is that every coin in this set is a quality coin to collect. Each coin is pretty valuable, but every coin in this set is affordable for at least a decent bit of people, because there's not any coins in this set that you can't get for under $1,000 a piece, which I know for a lot of you guys that is a lot of money, but there are a lot of complete sets that you can collect that can get way higher than that, even for the lowest grade coins. So I really do like this set because it focuses on the Carson City Mint, which is, in my opinion, the coolest mint that the US ever had, and also one of the greatest US coins that we ever minted, which is the Carson City set. Not only that though, what I like about this set is that it's not so big. It's a pretty easy set to complete because there's actually only 13 coins, 14 if you count the 1900. That's just kind of an extra piece I include. But it's only a 13 coin set, and every coin in it is a really cool and valuable coin. That is just, it's just something that you can be proud of. Any of these coins in this set, they're all worth at least $100 on up, even in any grade. But they all are attainable if you are persistent and get through the set. So I want to start off with the first year. This is the 1878 Carson City. This one's graded MS62. Now, on this year, there were 2.2 million, so it's kind of a middle upper amount of mintage for the Carson City Morgans, but it's still actually considered kind of a medium tough date to get, but it is pretty affordable. There are about just under 300,000 known, and in the lowest grades you can get them for around, the $150 to $200 mark. And then, but even in mint state, what's cool about this coin is it's not overly pricey. In the low mint state, like an MS62, you're looking at about the $400 to $450 dollar range. So not exorbitant to get a nice mint state example. So a really cool coin. Now the 1879 is one of the better dates, but you can get this coin in lower grade for still a somewhat reasonable price. But this coin in mint state, it gets really high. I mean, mint state and up, you're looking at pretty much a minimum of $5,000. So this coin is tough to get in mint state. But the good news is, in your lower grades, you can still get it for around that $150 to $200 mark if you get it in that like good 4, almost good 3. If you want a little bit better example, like a VG, you're looking at about 300. And if you want like a VF like this, this coin condition is huge. There were only 756,000 minutes, so it's a little bit of a lower mintage, but the survival rate was only 14,900, which is one of the lowest survival rates. So a really tough coin to get, but a really cool coin to get. And it's one of the better dates, but it's still obtainable. As I said, you can get one in low grades for around that $200 mark, so it still is obtainable. Now I'd like to talk about the 1880cc, and this is a GSA holder. These were government issued holders from a hoard that they found, I believe in the 70s. And these were all in bank bags, and they put them in these cool holders and auctioned them off, the government, the mint did. And you can actually get these from basically 1878 through 1885, and then 1890 through really 91. After that, there aren't hardly any in the 92, 93. There's pretty much about 8 years, 8 or 9 years that you can get these in, maybe 10. But these are really cool holders, and a lot of these coins are going to be quality. There's usually no clean coins in these because they came straight out of bank bags. But this is the 1880cc. This is kind of like a middle date in terms of rarity. It has 591,000 minutes, so kind of a lower mintage, but the survival rate's higher because a lot of these were found in the bank bags with 247,000 survival. And most of them were actually in mint state. This coin, in lower grades, it's still gonna run you a lot, around that $400 range and up. You might be able to get one for $350 in like very fine grade, but in lower grades, this coin still is a $250 on up coin for the most part. But once you get, your mint state grade like this MS63, well, it's a proof like, so that's gonna make it worth more. But once you get in that mint state range, you're looking at about $600, $700, $800 range, depending on what grade you get, and it can go up even higher. But a really cool coin, kind of your middle grade to get, but a really nice coin to get. And then the 1881 is gonna be in the same boat, kind of a slightly better date, but it's not a key date in the Carson City Oregon collection. There was 296,000 minutes. So this is actually one of the lower mintages, but a lot of these were found in the bank court. So there's actually 180,000 that are known, and most of them are in mint state. This one's got cool toning, so it is worth more. But these coins don't range much in the lower grades, because this is a rarer one. You're still looking at about, that $400 range, $400 range, even in the lowest grades. But then once you get into the mint state, it actually doesn't range that much. You can still get one for, you're about your 6 to 7. I mean, between MS61 and 63, the range is only about $100, $200. They range about $600 to $700, $750 range. And in the GSA holders, they will bring a little bit more because it's kind of a cooler part of our history. And if you can't find these in the GSA holders, I always recommend getting them. And the next ones are some of the easier dates to get. The 82 through 84 are the most common to get, and they're the most common to get in the GSA holders. If the coins, if you want to get them in the GSA holders, the easiest ones to get would be the 1882 through 1884. And these are going to be your most common coins, but they're really lovely coins. Still not a super high mintage. The 1882, 1.1 million, so a little bit higher mintage, but still not an extremely high mintage. 700,000 survival, so a lot of these did survive in the bank bags. And these coins do not range much. You're going to be looking at, even in the lower grades, about at least 150 to 200, even in the worst grades. But in mint state, you can get these coins all day for about, the low mint state, about the $300 to $400 mark. So this coin's not too bad. But as you can tell, I'm going through these coins, all these coins are pretty valuable. They all have a good amount of value to them, which is really nice. So you're getting a good quality coin for each coin that you get in the series, but they're not extremely expensive, especially if you don't get them in extremely high grades. But the 1883 CC is another one with 1.2 million mintage, but the survival rate is really high, another approximate 700,000 survival rate. And this coin is going to be almost identical to 1882, maybe slightly easier to get. In the lower grades, you're going to be about that 150, 200, closer to that $200 range. And then once you hit the mint state, you're going to be looking at around that $300 to $400 range for low mint state. And then it can get more, obviously. At 65, you're looking at more about that $500 range. But a pretty cool coin to get. This one's proof-like, so it does have a premium. But this is these 82 through 84, definitely would recommend getting them in the GSA holders. They're not too much more to get than to just get them in regular holders or raw. So they're really cool to get, and you're getting a good quality coin because none of these were clean. They were all from bank bags. But the 1884 is kind of the last easier date to get. All the 1882 through 1884 about the same mintage. This one's 1.1 million as well, so about that 1.2 million dollar range. This one actually has the most survival rate at just under $1 million at 980,000, but the price is about the same. You're gonna be looking at a minimum about $150, $200, and then once you hit the mint state range, you're looking at about that $300 to $400 range. So these all stay about the same, unless you get them in proof, like it does go up, of course. And then 1885, surprisingly, is the lowest mintage of all CC Morgans at just 228,000. However, this coin is surprisingly affordable because the survival rate on that 228,000 is 174,000. So there's a very high survival rate. So this coin is actually very, because a lot of these were found in the bank hoards, a lot of them were held back, and this coin does not range hardly at all. Even in the lowest grades, you're still looking at about $600, $700, $800. It's actually harder to get this coin in lower grades than higher grades, and even in the lowest grades, yeah, you're looking at about $500, $600, $700, and then in mint state, you're looking at about that $700, $800, $900 range. So there's very little movement at all. So you can get a really nice quality coin. This is an MS62 star, so it's got some nice rainbow toning on front and back. But this is the key coin, the lowest mintage, but not the key date, but it is kind of expensive to get in any grade, but you can get a nice quality coin in mint state for a lot less than some of these other ones that have a lot less in mint state. But this is going to be kind of your higher coin to get because you're going to have to pay probably at least $600, $700 to get one in a decent grade. And then the actual key date of the entire series is the 1889 Carson City. Now this coin, so we skipped 1886 through 1888. There were no Carson Cities minted in those 3 years, but then they brought them back in 1889. And this is the key date of the series, which is 350,000 minutes, so a very low mintage, but the survival rate is extremely low at just 25,250. So one of the lowest survival rates. Surprising, the 1879 has a lower survival rate, but the 1889 had fewer mintage, so that kind of helped it. And this coin is going to be really the most expensive coin to buy because even in that good 4, good 6 range, kind of your low ball grades, you're still going to be looking at about $600, $700. So this is going to be the most expensive one, but you can still get it in a good grade for under $1,000. Like this VG8 example, you're going to be looking right at that $1,000 range. You might be able to sneak one slightly lower than that, but you can get this coin for still under $1,000, but it is the toughest coin to get in this series. Now the 1890 is going to be a slightly better coin to get, but mintage wise, it's going to be pretty high. There were 2.3 million of these minted. This is a PCGS grade MS62 example, but the survival rate wasn't extremely high on these, with just 216,000 reported to have survived. So that's only about 10% of the actual grade. But you can get this coin In circulated condition, it's actually very reasonable. You can get this coin in that low good 4, good 6 range for about that $150 to $200 mark. So it is affordable in the low grades. If you want a mint state example like this, that's when it gets higher because there's fewer of these known in mint state, these circulated more. You're going to be looking at about that in the MS62, about that 800 range, maybe $800 to $900 range for an MS62 example. So a tougher coin to get, and there is a variety on these. It's called the tail bar. It's on the reverse. Back here, there's a variety, that a die crack that goes through the tail in the reverse. So a cool design to get there. And the 1891 is going to be very similar to the 1890. It's got 1.6 million, so slightly less mintage. And it's got slightly less survival rate at 162,000. So on these, about 10% of them survive. So a lower survival rate, going to be a little bit more expensive. And this coin's going to be pretty similar in price. You can get them in that lower good range for about $200. And then once you hit that mint state range, it goes up substantially. In the MS61, you're looking at about that $700 range, about $700. And then in MS62, you're looking at closer to this one, about $700 to $800. So a little bit more for an MS62. But these coins are very similar on the pricing. Now the 1892 is a better date as well. This one's a little bit tougher to get. It's got 1.3 million mintage, so not a super low mintage, but the survival rate was only 135,000. So again, about 10% of what the 1890 and 1891. So these were circulated a lot more of them were melted down. But in mint state, these had a pretty low survival rate. So once you get in that mint state range, this coin jumps up to about 1,500 and higher, and really more towards the $1,700, $1,800 range, even in MS61. But the good news is in this coin circulated condition, like an XF40, you're looking at closer to about $600, $700. And then in the lower grades, in the good 4, good 6 range, you can still get them for about 200 to, around 250. So what the good news is for anyone who can buy these in the lower grades, most of them are only going to run you a couple $100, even some of the better date ones like the 1879, 1892. And then this is probably the second this one and the 1879 are kind of tied for the second toughest states to get in terms of rarity. This one's only has 677,000 minutes, so it's a lower mintage, and their survival rate was very low, just 48,000. So this one's quite a bit more rare than the 1892 CC, and it will show in the pricing, because in mint state, this coin jumps all the way up in low mint state range for about 6,000 on up. So this coin is definitely one of the higher ones, kind of like the 1879, actually maybe slightly higher. And overall, this coin's pretty pricey, because even in the low good 4, good 6 range, you're looking at about a $400 coin. So quite a bit more than the 1892. And then this grade at very fine 25, you're still looking at a $1,000 coin. So a pretty tough coin to get. This is going to be one of your tough ones to get. But in the lower grades, if you're willing to get a lower grade to complete the set, you can still get them for about the $400 range. So not way too pricey. And the final one, this is one that you can add to when you're done. This is the 1900 O over CC. And it's kind of hard to show in the camera, but there will be you'll see the outline of a CC over the O, because they used some old Carson City dies. It'll be on the mint mark here, and it's hard for me to zoom in on it. I don't know if it'll do it, but you'll see an outline of the CC on it. You can kind of see it there, the lighter spots around the CC, around the O. You can kind of see the outline of the CC mint. But they reuse these in this coin. It's not too expensive to get. Once you get that mint state range, they run about 500 on up. But if you get one in like this AU range, you're looking at about the $350, $400 mark. So not an extremely expensive coin. But Looking at this as a whole, the good thing is that there's not a coin that's just way out of reach on this set. But there is no coin that's extremely cheap on this set too, which I kind of like. For anyone who wants to kind of step up their game into coin collecting, this is just a really nice overall coin set to complete, because most people can complete it. And what's really nice is there's not a whole lot of coins, but just 13 coins, and then 14 if you want to add the 900. I'd love to hear your all's thoughts. What do you think? Is there a particular coin collection to complete, a certain set to complete that you believe is even better overall? Please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about the Carson City Morgan Dollar collection. Do you think it's a really good collection to collect? These coins have done extremely well value-wise. They hold their value very well. They've kind of come back a little bit, but overall they've been increasing substantially, especially since COVID. So I'd love to hear all the feedback in the comment. I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.